The massive window of Earth's diplomatic center offered a view that never failed to amaze visitors. The gleaming cities below sparkled like scattered diamonds, while old-fashioned chemical rockets launched satellites into orbit, a sight that often made alien diplomats hide their smirks. Captain James Walker stood before this window, watching a visitor's ship approach. Its sleek design made Earth's vessels look like children's toys in comparison. "They're here to look down on us again," he thought, keeping his face carefully neutral. The practiced smile he'd worn for 15 years settled into place as he adjusted his simple blue uniform, another carefully chosen piece of humanity's mask. The visitor's ship, belonging to Council Leader Marcus, docked with all the grace of a swan landing on water. Walker watched the magnetic clamps engage, noting how the alien vessel's advanced systems made the process look effortless. Earth's docking procedures, in contrast, involved visible mechanical arms and what aliens considered crude targeting systems. Captain Walker, the ship's computer announced, Council Leader Marcus, and his delegation request permission to board. "Permission granted," Walker replied, his voice carrying the slight uncertainty that aliens had come to expect from humans. "Please remind them about our atmospheric requirements." He learned that adding small hesitations made humans seem more endearingly primitive to their galactic neighbors. The airlock cycled, and 3 figures entered. Council Leader Marcus stood tall, his crystalline skin catching the sunlight. Behind him walked 2 guards, their advanced armor making Earth's security forces look like museum pieces. "Greetings, Captain Walker," Marcus said, his translator perfect as always. "I trust we find you well." Yes, of course," Walker replied with carefully calculated enthusiasm. "We're so honored by your visit. Would you like to see our new hydroponics facility? We finally managed to increase efficiency by almost 2%. Marcus's crystal features arranged themselves into what Walker recognized as a patronizing smile. "Perhaps later. We're here to discuss the upcoming fleet exercises near your solar system. Nothing to worry about. Just standard council procedures." Walker led them to the conference room, noting how the aliens examined Earth's primitive technology with barely concealed amusement. The door slid open with an intentionally audible hydraulic hiss, a feature that had cost extra to install but helped maintain their image. "Please sit," Walker gestured to the simple chairs. "We've adjusted the environment to your preferences." He pretended not to notice how Marcus and his guards exchanged knowing looks at the noisy environmental controls. As they discussed the fleet exercises, Walker played his role perfectly. He asked simple questions, showed appropriate awe at their ship's capabilities, and maintained the facade that had protected Earth for 50 years. All the while, beneath his feet, 30 levels below the lowest point on any official blueprint, Earth's true command center hummed with activity. In that hidden heart of human preparation, Admiral Thomas Grant watched the meeting through concealed sensors. His real uniform, bearing the insignia of Earth Defense Force, reflected the soft light of holographic displays, showing the true extent of human military power. "Status report," Grant commanded softly. "All systems nominal." "Sir," Commander Lisa Stone replied. "The quantum sensors they think we can't build are tracking every movement of their ship. Our fleet remains undetected in the lunar shadow, and Project Aegis is ready for activation if needed." Grant nodded, watching Walker maintain humanity's greatest deception. 50 years, he mused. 50 years of playing the part of the galaxy's new younger sibling. Let's hope it buys us the time we need. Above, Walker was finishing the meeting. "We're so grateful for the Council's guidance," he said, bowing slightly, another calculated gesture. "Without you, we'd still be struggling with basic interstellar travel." Marcus's crystalline features shifted into what humans had learned was an expression of supreme confidence. "That's why the Council exists, Captain. To guide young species like yours toward civilization." As the aliens departed, Walker maintained his smile, knowing that beneath the oceans, beneath the mountains, and in the shadows of every human colony, the truth waited. Humanity's mask had served them well, but the day they would need to remove it grew ever closer. The gardens of the Earth Diplomatic Center were quiet at night. Captain Walker walked along the winding path, looking up at the stars that now held so many known worlds. The soft crunch of his boots on the gravel path was joined by another set of footsteps, lighter, almost musical in their rhythm. Ambassador Reed emerged from the shadows, his translucent form catching the starlight. Unlike the crystalline appearance of Council Leader Marcus, Reed's veil species looked like walking morning mist, their shapes constantly shifting. "You're getting better at noticing me," Reed said, his voice like wind through leaves. "Practice," Walker replied simply, dropping the uncertain tone he used in official meetings. "What brings you here at this hour?" Reed's form swirled with patterns that Walker had learned meant worry. "They're coming, James. The council has made its decision." Walker stopped walking, but didn't turn to face his friend. This was the moment Earth had prepared for, the reason behind 50 years of deception. "Tell me." Marcus convinced enough of them. "They're calling it a peaceful integration of Earth into the Council's direct control." Reed's form dimmed slightly. "The fleet exercises near your solar system. They're no exercise. It's an invasion force." Walker nodded slowly, his face remaining calm even as his mind raced through the implications. "How long?" 3 days. They believe your detection systems won't notice their real numbers until it's too late." Reed moved closer, his misty form casting soft shadows on the ground. "I've watched your people for 50 years, James. At first, I thought like the others, that humans were simple, peaceful, perhaps a bit slow to develop. But I've seen the patterns, the tiny inconsistencies." "What made you suspect?" Walker asked, genuinely curious. "Little things. The way your people ask questions. Always the right questions, but never quite the right time. The way your technology advances in strange jumps and stops. The way you—" Reed paused, his form swirling faster. "The way you watch us when you think we're not looking." Walker allowed himself a small smile. "And yet you're here, warning us." "Because I've seen enough to know that the Council is making a terrible mistake. They think they're moving against a helpless child. I think they're poking a sleeping giant." In the darkness of his office 30 levels below, Admiral Grant received Walker's coded message. His fingers moved across the holographic controls, sending silent orders to Earth's hidden forces. On screens around him, dots of light began to move. Ships emerging from their hiding places in asteroid fields, beneath ocean trenches, and behind lunar shadows. Commander Stone entered the office, her face lit by the soft blue glow of the displays. "All sectors report ready, sir. Project Aegis is armed and tracking. Begin Phase 1, Grant ordered. But remember, no one moves until they show their true intentions. We maintain the mask until the last possible moment." Back in the garden, Walker turned to face Reed fully. "Why help us? You're risking everything." Reed's form shifted into what Walker recognized as their version of a shrug. "Because in 50 years, no human has ever tried to take advantage of my people. You've traded fairly, spoken honestly, even if you were hiding your true strength. The Council claims to protect younger species, but they exploit them. You hide your power, but you've never abused those weaker than you." "We've had good teachers," Walker said quietly. "Earth's history is full of powerful civilizations destroying those they saw as primitive. We learned from those mistakes. And now," Walker looked up at the stars again, knowing that behind their peaceful twinkle, warships were gathering. "Now we hope we've learned enough. Thank you, Reed. You should leave Earth soon. What's coming? It won't be pleasant. The Council thinks they're ready for anything Earth might have hidden." Reed's form began to fade into the darkness. "I don't think they're ready for the truth." As Reed vanished, Walker touched the hidden communicator in his collar. "Admiral, it's confirmed. Initiate final protocol. The mask comes off in 3 days. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a base that didn't exist on any official map, Admiral Grant stood before a wall of screens. Each one showed a different part of humanity's greatest secret, their true military power. Ships that made their public vessels look like toys waited in underwater hangars. Weapons that would make Council leader Marcus's crystalline skin crack with fear stood ready. "Status report," Grant called out, his voice steadied despite the weight of the moment. Commander Stone touched her control panel, bringing up a global display. "All hidden bases report ready, sir. Atlantic Fleet is in position under the Puerto Rico Trench. Pacific Fleet stands ready in the Mariana Trench. Indian Ocean Fleet waits in the Java Deep." On the screens, massive hangar doors began to open beneath the waves. What looked like simple ocean floors split apart, revealing ships that gleamed with technology the Council thought impossible for humans to create. Each vessel carried weapons reverse-engineered from 100 alien technologies, improved by human innovation. "Launch the drones," Grant ordered. Across Earth's oceans, thousands of small objects rose from the depths. To alien sensors, they would look like schools of fish or natural ocean movements. In reality, they were Earth's eyes and ears, watching for the coming attack. In orbit, Captain Walker played his part. His primitive station continued its clumsy rotation, broadcasting simple signals that made alien observers smile with superiority. Below the station's outer shell, however, quantum computers tracked every ship within a light-year of Earth. "Sir," a young operator called out, "the Council fleet is moving. Their stealth systems are active, but our quantum sensors see right through them." Walker nodded, maintaining his calm expression. "How many ships?" 300, sir," just as Ambassador Reed warned. "They're trying to hide behind Jupiter's magnetic field, but they can't fool our deep space arrays." In the lunar base that officially didn't exist, hidden beneath the dark side of the moon, rows of fighters waited. Their pilots sat ready, each one trained on simulators built from stolen alien tech. The Council thought human pilots needed 6 seconds to react. These pilots could match alien reaction times of 0.3 seconds. Commander Stone's voice came through the command center speakers. "Sir, Project Aegis is showing green across all systems. The quantum shield grid can deploy at your command." Grant allowed himself a small smile. Project Aegis, a planetary defense system that linked every hidden base, every concealed weapon platform, into one unified network. The Council's scientists had said such technology was centuries beyond human capability. They were wrong. "What about our colonies?" Grant asked. "Mars base reports ready. The underground cities are sealed. Europa Station has activated its camouflage systems. Titan base reports all weapons hot." Stone's fingers danced across her controls. "The Council still thinks those are just research stations. In high orbit, disguised as space junk, Earth's real satellites watched the approaching fleet. The Council ships moved with the confidence of predators who thought their prey was blind. They didn't know that every movement was tracked, every communication intercepted. "They'll be in position tomorrow," Walker reported from his station. "Their main fleet will emerge from behind Jupiter at 600 hours. They expect to catch us completely unprepared." Grant turned to face the gathered commanders in the underground base. "For 50 years, we've hidden our strength. We've played the part of the primitive species, learning from our betters, while building all of this in secret. Tomorrow, they'll learn the truth." The screens showed humanity's real fleet, ships with hulls made of materials the Council thought impossible to create, weapons that combined a dozen alien technologies in ways their inventors never imagined, and defenses that could shrug off the strongest known weapons. "Send the code to all commands," Grant ordered. "Operation Revelation begins at dawn. Show no mercy to the invaders, but remember, we're fighting to protect, not to conquer. Humanity removes its mask tomorrow, but we don't become the monsters they fear." As the orders went out, Earth's hidden arsenal hummed with power. In deep space, the Council fleet approached, unaware that their easy conquest was about to become their worst nightmare. The Council fleet appeared from behind Jupiter like a swarm of angry wasps. Their ships gleamed in the sunlight, weapons charged and ready for what they thought would be an easy victory. Council leader Marcus stood on his command ship's bridge, watching Earth grow larger on the main screen. "Send the demand for surrender," he ordered, his crystalline features arranged in a smile. "Let's give them a chance to accept their fate quietly." The message went out, traveling across space to Earth's primitive communication arrays. In his station, Captain Walker received it, fighting to hide his smile. "Sir," one of Marcus's officers called out. No response from Earth. Their systems seemed to be malfunctioning. As expected, Marcus said, "Begin the approach. Prepare boarding parties for their orbital stations." But as the Council fleet moved past Mars' orbit, something changed. The space junk that littered Earth's orbital paths began to move. Pieces of what looked like old satellites and broken rockets suddenly came alive. "Sir," the officer's voice rose in alarm. "Multiple objects moving. They're not debris. They're weapons platforms." Before Marcus could respond, the first wave of human attacks began. Quantum-linked lasers fired from 100 hidden platforms, cutting through Council shields like they weren't there. Ships that had never faced a real fight began exploding. Impossible. Marcus's crystalline form crackled with stress. "Their technology is decades behind us. They can't have quantum weapons." Deep beneath the Pacific, Admiral Grant watched the battle unfold. "Launch the fleets, all of them. Show them what humanity can really do." The ocean itself seemed to explode as massive doors opened in the deepest trenches. Ships rose from the waters, their hulls shimmering with technology that put Council vessels to shame. In orbit, Walker's primitive station transformed, layers of fake plating falling away to reveal a state-of-the-art command center. "This is Captain Walker of the Earth Defense Force." He broadcast on all frequencies. "You were warned not to underestimate humanity. Now face the consequences." The Council fleet tried to regroup, but they were caught in a trap 50 years in the making. Human ships appeared from behind the moon, their engines pushing the limits of physics. Fighter squadrons emerged from hidden bases on Mars and Europa, attacking from directions the Council never expected. How? Marcus demanded as another wave of his ships exploded. How did they hide all this? On Earth's surface, Project Aegis activated. A shield of pure energy surrounded the planet, created by technology the Council had dismissed as impossible for humans. More ships rose from the oceans, each one carrying weapons that combined alien technologies in ways their creators never imagined. "Target their command ship," Grant ordered. "Let's show them our real face." A beam of concentrated energy, drawn from 3 different alien weapon designs and improved by human engineers, struck Marcus's flagship. The supposedly unbreakable shields failed in seconds. "Sir," Commander Stone reported, "enemy fleet is trying to retreat. Our lunar forces have cut off their escape route." Walker's voice came through the command channel. "Earth Defense Force to all units. Remember the plan. No unnecessary destruction. We're not here to destroy them, just to show them the truth." The battle turned into a rout. Council ships, designed for fighting enemies with known technologies, couldn't handle human weapons that broke all their rules. Fighters piloted by humans with enhanced reaction times danced through their formation, disabling engines and weapons with surgical precision. "Send the signal," Grant commanded. "Let's make our position clear." Throughout the solar system, hidden human bases revealed themselves. Weapons platforms emerged from asteroids. Research stations transformed into fortresses. The mask humanity had worn for 50 years fell away completely, revealing a military power that had prepared for this exact moment. Marcus stood on his crippled flagship, watching his invasion force fall apart. "Stop," he ordered finally. "Stop everything. Open a channel to their command." Walker's face appeared on his screen, no longer showing any sign of uncertainty or submission. "Ready to talk, Council Leader. This time as equals." In the newly revealed command center of Earth's orbital station, Captain Walker stood face to face with Council Leader Marcus. The crystalline alien's form had lost its usual shine, dulled by the shock of recent events. Between them, a holographic display showed the remains of the Council's invasion fleet, now surrounded by humanity's true military might. "I don't understand," Marcus said, his voice barely a whisper. "All these years, everything we saw was exactly what we wanted you to see," Walker replied, his voice now carrying none of its former uncertainty. He touched a control panel, and the room filled with images. Every stumbling diplomatic meeting, every technological failure, every seemingly accidental glimpse of our civilization, all carefully planned. The images showed human diplomats making careful mistakes in alien languages, engineers pretending to be amazed by basic council technology, and scientists acting surprised by simple galactic concepts. But now, each scene was paired with the truth, the hidden preparations happening behind the scenes. "Those trade agreements you thought were so one-sided in your favor," Walker continued. "We learned more from studying your legal documents than from the actual trades. The technical help you gave us, we already had better versions, but watching you explain things revealed your thinking patterns, your blind spots." Admiral Grant's image appeared on a nearby screen. "Show him the training facilities, James." New images filled the room. Underground bases where human soldiers practiced fighting against holographic aliens, studying their movements and tactics. Laboratories where scientists took apart alien technology and found ways to improve it. Factories building weapons that combine technologies from a dozen different species in ways their creators never imagined. "Impossible," Marcus said, touching one of the holographic images. "These facilities, they would have taken decades to build." "We started the day after first contact," Walker confirmed. "The moment we saw how the Council treated primitive species, we knew we had to prepare. Every time you thought you were teaching us, we were learning something far more valuable than you intended." Commander Stone's voice came through the speakers. "Sir, the Council's backup fleet has arrived at Neptune's orbit. They're watching, but not advancing." "They're smarter than you were," Walker told Marcus. "Would you like to see what else we've been hiding?" The display changed again, showing massive shipyards hidden in asteroid belts, research stations disguised as space debris, and weapon systems that defied Council understanding. Each revelation made Marcus's crystalline form crack a little more with stress. "Your species," Marcus struggled to find words. "You're not just warriors. You're planners, deceivers. This level of patience, of long-term strategy, is something you never expected from primitive humans," Walker finished. "You thought we were children playing with toys. You never considered that we might be adults playing along with your assumptions." Grant's image spoke again. "Every time you dismissed us as simple, we took advantage. Every time you thought our technology was failing, we were testing your responses. Even our apparent cultural traits, the hesitation, the deference, the apparent technological gaps, all carefully crafted to make you underestimate us." "And now?" Marcus asked, looking at the surrounding human ships that outclassed his own. "Now we show you our true face," Walker said. "Not just our weapons or our ships, but who we really are. A species that learned from its own bloody history that strength isn't just about firepower. It's about wisdom, patience, and knowing when to reveal your true nature." The displays showed more images, hidden human colonies thriving on distant moons, advanced research that had revolutionized physics, and defense systems that could protect not just Earth, but any world that needed help. "You wanted to make us part of your council." Walker's voice was firm but not unkind. "First, you need to understand who we really are. Not the mask we wore, but the civilization we've become. Are you ready for that conversation, Council Leader? This time without any masks between us." The battle for Earth's solar system entered its second day, but it wasn't the quick victory the Council had expected. Their backup fleet hung at Neptune's orbit, watching as human ships demonstrated abilities that should have been impossible. A small human fighter zipped past a Council cruiser, its movements breaking every rule of space combat they knew. The Council gunners fired their advanced weapons, only to watch them pass harmlessly through what they thought was the fighter's position. "That's impossible," a Council weapons officer shouted. "Their technology can't create holograms that good." "Who told you that?" The human pilot's voice came through their speakers. "Oh, right. We did." In the main command center, Admiral Grant watched the display as more Council ships fell for the same trick. Human fighters used technology that combined holographic projections with real weapons, making it impossible to tell which threats were real until it was too late. "Status report," he called out. Commander Stone brought up a new display. "Our ships are pushing them back sector by sector. Their tactics aren't working because they trained to fight the military they thought we had, not the one we actually built." On his flagship, now surrounded by human vessels that dwarfed his own, Council leader Marcus watched another demonstration of human capabilities. A small Earth ship, no bigger than a shuttle, suddenly split into 3 separate vessels, each fully armed and combat-ready. "Modular ship design," Walker explained, standing beside him. "Something you dismissed as too complex for humans to attempt. We've had it working for 30 years. Marcus's crystalline form trembled slightly. "The resources needed, the engineering knowledge, all hidden in plain sight," Walker said. "Those mining operations you thought were so primitive. They were bringing in rare materials for our quantum computers. The fusion experiments you laughed at. Cover for our real power systems." The display showed more human ships in action. They moved in ways that Council tactical computers said were impossible, using formation patterns that seemed to ignore the laws of physics. Each maneuver revealed another layer of deception, another capability that humanity had kept hidden. "Sir," Commander Stone's voice came through. "The Council's backup fleet is requesting permission to approach under a flag of truce. They say they have representatives from other Council species on board." Grant nodded to Walker, who turned to Marcus. "Your colleagues are finally ready to talk. But first, would you like to see what else we've been hiding?" A new set of ships appeared from behind Mars, their design unlike anything the Council had ever seen. They moved without visible engines, changed direction without turning, and seemed to fade in and out of reality itself. "Project Phantom," Walker explained. "We combined your phase technology with some interesting ideas from old human science fiction. Turns out, sometimes imagination is more powerful than experience." The Council ships watched in awe as the Phantom vessels demonstrated their capabilities. They passed through solid objects, split into multiple copies, and performed maneuvers that Council scientists had declared theoretically impossible. "But the most important thing we hid," Walker continued, "wasn't our technology. It was our understanding of you. Every Council species has its patterns, its ways of thinking. We studied them all, learned how to counter each one. That's why your tactics aren't working. We designed our strategies specifically to exploit your blind spots." The main screen showed more human ships emerging from hidden bases across the solar system. Each one demonstrated another capability that shattered Council assumptions about human technology. But more importantly, they moved with a precision and coordination that showed years of practice. "Your backup fleet will be here soon," Walker said to Marcus. "When they arrive, they'll see humanity's true face, not just our weapons and ships, but our ability to plan, to adapt, and to fight wars in ways you never imagined. Are you ready to tell them what you've learned about underestimating Earth?" The grand meeting hall of the Galactic Council looked very different now. Where once humans had stood nervously at the back, they now sat at the main table. Captain Walker, no longer playing the role of an uncertain diplomat, stood at the center of the room. Behind him, through the massive windows, Earth's new ships floated in space, their power impossible to ignore. "The old Council is finished," Walker announced, his voice carrying across the silent chamber. "Its corruption, its habit of bullying younger species, ends today." Council leader Marcus sat in the witness chair, his crystalline form still showing cracks from the shock of recent events. "We were wrong about humans," he admitted, each word seeming to cost him effort. wrong in ways we couldn't imagine. Admiral Grant's hologram appeared next to Walker. "But this isn't about revenge," he said. "If we wanted that, we could have destroyed your fleet completely. Instead, we offer something new." The room's displays lit up, showing evidence that human intelligence had gathered over 50 years. Files proved how older Council species had exploited younger ones. Records revealed how the Council had deliberately kept some species from advancing. "We hid our true nature for a reason," Walker continued. "We needed to understand the problem before we could fix it. Now we know exactly what needs to change." Commander Stone entered the hall, carrying the data crystal. She handed it to Walker, who held it up for all to see. "This contains our proposal for a new galactic council, one where all species have real power, not just the oldest ones. One where helping younger civilizations means actually helping them, not keeping them weak." The alien representatives murmured among themselves. Some looked afraid, others relieved. Ambassador Reed, his misty form glowing softly, floated forward. "The humans could have destroyed us," Reed said to the gathered species. "Instead, they offer us a chance to build something better. I, for one, believe we should listen." Walker nodded to Reed, then turned back to the assembly. "Humanity's mask is off now, and here's what we really are. We're not conquerors. We're not revenge seekers. We're builders. We want to help create a galaxy where no species has to hide its true nature to survive." The displays changed again, showing human achievements they had kept hidden. Medical technologies that could help all species. Defense systems that could protect any world from natural disasters. Ships that could explore deeper into space than ever before. "Everything we built in secret," Grant's hologram said, "can now be used to help others. But only if you're willing to work with us as equals." Marcus stood slowly from the witness chair. "You played us all perfectly," he said. "You could have revealed yourselves at any time. Why wait until we forced your hand?" Walker smiled, but this time it was real, not the nervous gesture he had practiced for so many years. "Because we needed you to learn a lesson that would stick. The galaxy is full of surprises. No species, no matter how old or advanced, knows everything." The alien representatives began to nod. One by one, they stood to signal their agreement. The old council was dead. Something new would take its place. "There's one more thing," Walker said. He touched a control, and the space outside the windows lit up. Hundreds of human ships appeared, dropping their cloaking fields, more than anyone had imagined they had. "This is our full fleet, the real one. We show it not as a threat, but as a promise. From now on, these ships will defend any species that needs help, will explore for the benefit of all." Commander Stone stepped forward with a stack of datapads. These contained the new Council Charter. Equal representation, fair treatment of all species, real protection for developing civilizations, and one new rule above all others: no more masks. Every species gets to be what they truly are. As the new dawn broke over the Council world, humanity's true face finally showed in full, not just powerful, not just clever, but wise enough to use their strength to build rather than destroy. The mask was gone, and in its place stood a species ready to help forge a better galaxy for all.